Welcome everybody to part 2 of our pheasant back mushrooms. I am indoors now. We're going to do this step indoors because it's going to take a little bit and it's a little chilly outside, but that's okay. Here's our pheasant back. First things first, what we're going to do is we are going to wash them and then we're going to scrape the back. So part 1, let's wash our mushrooms really quick. When washing the pheasant backs, I like to have warm-ish water. You can see if you scrape this, a lot of that outer layer comes off like this. Some people actually scrape them and peel it away like this. I don't do that. I just get the loose stuff off like this. Much easier with 2 hands, but you just get the loose stuff off like this. You see it's coming right off. You barely have to do anything. You just gotta rub it a little bit. And the warm water definitely helps. So as you can see there, that is all we're doing to our mushrooms. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to wipe down all of our mushrooms just like that. Don't forget, if you haven't seen part 1, go check out part 1. I'm going to link it right up here. We actually went outside and we harvested these mushrooms, and I talked a little bit about the pheasant back mushrooms. So make sure you go check out that video. Let's get back. Let's hurry up, wash these mushrooms all up, and then let's scrape the backs. All I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bowl, a clean bowl. I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to take one of our mushrooms, scrape our mushrooms like this. Like I said, all we're doing is we're getting off the outer layer. And in doing so, your mushrooms will be clean. They do feel a little slimy, especially some of the smaller ones. So doing this will take off a lot of that slimy feel. And some of it will break off like that. Not a big deal. I just throw it away. But just like that. And this one is ready to go because we do not have pores like we do on the other ones because this is a smaller one. For this next part, you want to get a couple Walmart bags or whatever bags these ones are. You want to scrape the back of these mushrooms in these bags. It does make a little bit of a mess, but I like to put it in a bag, then you can throw it away really easy versus wasting an entire garbage bag, because you do not want these to sit in your house very long. It will start to stink and it smells like watermelon really, really strong. Alright, so when doing this, you want a knife that has a very sharp spine to it. A 90-degree spine is way better than anything else. Then you want to take your knife, you want to put it on this, and you just want to scrape down like that. You're going to get all those pores right off of there, just like this. So I just scrape it till it really doesn't come off anymore. Nice and simple, nice and easy. It does make it a little easier if you take the mushroom and you actually cut it in half like this. It makes it a little easier because you can actually hold it in your hand better, and then you can scrape it a lot easier. So anyway, so this is all you're doing, just taking some time to scrape off all the nasty pores. A lot of these pores, I see some people do eat them. A lot of people don't because they hold a lot of bugs. So just an FYI, I would scrape one. Just like that, that is all you're looking for. So let's put all these in our bucket. And then at the end, I will do one more rinsing and then it's time to chop them up. So now I have a smaller one. This smaller one does have a lot of pores on it. So we are just going to scrape this one, but a lot of the smaller ones do not. They will have a very, very smooth base. So since I did wash them first, you're gonna get a lot of moisture in them. You could do this outside, and then you don't have to worry about the mess indoors. It's just warmer indoors today, so it's kind of nice just to be able to do this inside. I'm just gonna take some time right now to scrape them all, get them all cleaned up, and I'll get back to you once that's done. Now that that's all done, I just take some mushrooms, push them in some water like this, and then let's chop it up. That's it, clean mushroom. So here is the point where you need to decide what you want to do with these mushrooms. You can either chop them up and cook them, or you can chop them up and dehydrate them and save them for later. If you dehydrate them, I recommend getting some canning jars, throw them in a canning jar, put a lid on them, toss them on your shelf for a while if you need to. They do great in soups, but you can also rehydrate them and fry them up as well. So for me, I'm going to show you both ways. We're actually going to probably cut up half of these, dehydrate half, and half of them, and cook half of them. But we're going to cook them 2 different ways, a way that I have not personally done yet. I'm not going to give it away, so you guys stay tuned, watch the video. But we're going to cut them up. We're actually going to kind of saute them a little bit, so we're going to get some butter, fry them in some butter, and then we're going to do some oil with the other ones. And then I have a special way like I mentioned. Really excited about it. I hope you are too. At this point in the video, if you could, please go hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. All right, let's get chopping and let's get cooking. Let's do it. All right, for step 1, we need to, for dehydrating and cooking them, we are gonna cut these up into slices. So I'm just gonna take my knife like this. We are just going to slice them up. Make sure you get them pretty thin, because the thinner they are, the easier and faster it will be to cook and dehydrate. So I'm gonna keep mine roughly that big is all I'm gonna do. So for these full ones like this, I personally like to start here, go like this. And then once I get to this tougher part right here, the tougher part is actually better in soups. So I'm going to just dehydrate the tougher parts, but the parts that I want to cook, I want to leave separate. But this here is just too tough. This end where it connects to the tree, I just throw it away. Be careful when you do this, because you definitely don't want to cut your finger, because some parts of the mushroom are really easy to cut through, and some are very difficult to cut through. The closer you get to the stock part that was connected to the tree, the harder it is to cut up. Oop. Get a couple more off of this one. So I mentioned earlier we're going to cook it up 2 different ways. We're actually going to cook it up 3 different ways. I'm going to show you 2 ways that I have tried to cook it up, and then I'm going to show you a new way that I have personally not tried yet. Alright, so that is pretty much what you are doing. All you're doing is we're cutting these up. We're going to get them into strips, and then we are going to take them out to the dehydrator and get them starting to dehydrate, and then we'll cook up the other ones. Let's do it. That is a lot of mushrooms right there. I got a couple more to cut up, and then I am all done. So I've already mentioned this before, but when you end up cutting these up, everything smells like a watermelon. It's crazy. And there we go. All right, let's take these out to the dehydrator and dehydrate some of them. So I'm sorry about the darkness, but we are in the garage. This is where I dehydrate my stuff, because if you dehydrate these in the house, your whole house is gonna stink like watermelon, and it does not smell good, trust me. So obviously we have our mushrooms here. We got a dehydrator. Inside our dehydrator right now, I'm actually doing some onions. Onions are usually at a lower temperature. I have mine set in between 105 and 95, but these dry at about 125 to 145. So I'm actually gonna bump them up. It doesn't matter really, as long as they'll just take longer to dehydrate on a lower setting. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take our mushrooms. We are going to spread them out on this tray right here. So I'm literally just going to take a bunch of these. I'm just going to do one of these numbers. I'm putting these towards the bottom, and the onions are going to be towards the top. You will be seeing the onions in a totally separate video, so make sure you stay tuned and check that video out if you haven't seen me dehydrating some onions yet. But as you can see, I'm just gonna spread them apart like this, and they can touch. They don't. It is what it is if they just touch. But what you want is you want to come out here tomorrow, and you want to move them around if they are touching. But not a big deal. So we're just gonna lay the rest of these on here like this. We're gonna have a lot of dehydrating, just like that. You want to try not to fill this hole up, because the hole on your dehydrator is what allows all the rest of it to get to it. All right, now I can put this back on top of here, and I'm gonna bump this up to 115. So you can see there I have my onions on the top, and then my dryad saddles or pheasant backs on the bottom. We're gonna let that sit now, and I will see you tomorrow morning to check on them. All right, everybody, welcome back. It is the next day. We are checking our mushrooms. So as you can see, I still got a couple onions on the top, but let's check our mushrooms out. They have a nice break. Oh yeah, they are definitely done. Nice, nice, nice. Very, very excited. So it took all night long plus another 4 hours this morning. So yeah, I mean, it definitely takes a while if you want to dehydrate something, but it's not the worst thing in the world. You just gotta have a little bit of patience. Mushrooms dried faster than my wild onions did. Let's see how the bottom ones did. Oh yeah, those are crunchy. Those are perfect. Very, very perfect. Look at those. Nice, I love it. Let's get back inside and cook up some mushrooms. Got our pheasant back mushrooms dehydrated. Are you ready for this? So there's two things you need to do. Just two. Very, very, very simple. Let's head over here. You have your mushrooms here. You need to get a beautiful canning jar. Pheasant back mushroom. I recommend you put the date on it as well. When you put the date on it, therefore it reminds me, oh, I've had these pheasant backs since last year. Let's cook up these ones before we use up the other ones. So that's all I wanted to tell you about that. So I'm gonna hurry up. What we're gonna do, we're gonna throw them in there. Then we're gonna get on with the rest of the video. Let's do it. All right, got a lid got our canning jar. I'm literally just gonna take these and we're just gonna fill up this whole canning jar. And then we're gonna have to get another one as well. Now you can break these up like this to get them to fit in the jar better. But I have more jars, so I'll just get another jar. Push it down, crunch them up a little bit. So dehydrating pheasant back mushrooms are great for soups is what I got told. So we need to make a soup. If you are excited to see, if you are excited for me to make some kind of a soup up and put these in it, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to cook up a soup for you sometime. Maybe I'll get out in the woods, we can bring some ingredients with us and we can cook up a soup. So there you have it. That is how you dehydrate pheasant back mushrooms. Like I said, I put them in the can. My canning jar system is all right here. I have a reishi mushroom, so if you don't know what a reishi mushroom is, go check out my last year video. I have more pheasant back mushrooms from last year, and I have onions that I dehydrated and put there as well. I like dehydrating stuff because it lasts way longer and you get to use it whenever you want it. So I have that. I am dehydrating some wild onions, so if you do not see that video come out shortly, make sure you look for it because I think you're gonna like that one. We're making a powder base out of the wild onions and I'm really excited about that. I have a couple recipes for that as well. All right, pheasant back mushrooms, let's cook some up. Let's do it. All I'm using for this is olive oil, my favorite thing to use. So when cooking up these pheasant back mushrooms or dryad saddles, what you want to do first is you want to cut them up super thin. So we already cut them up, and I tried a little bit earlier. I didn't videotape any of it, but I tried some, and I'm telling you, you need to cut them up super thin. So what ended up happening is when you try cooking them up, they end up being way too chewy. You will see this later in the video. I actually did a part earlier that I'm going to show all at the end of this video. I'm really excited to show you that, so stay tuned, watch all the way to the end to see that. But they were just too chewy. So I'm going to cut these up super thin, and we're going to see how it goes. Let's do it. I'm actually going to be using this thing. This is actually really cool. So it comes with all different ones right here. Put that up. This opens up. But it has a potato slicer. So I have not actually tried this, so this is going to be my first time doing this, but I am really excited about this. So you can see there, I'm literally just going to take this and we're just going to slice it. I might have to go this way. That's it, just like that. I'm just gonna continue to slice this up, and you can see it's gonna be really thin slices. So I'm gonna do that for a while. I'm gonna get right back to you. Now my oil is all preheated. I'm gonna take our slices. Now remember, they're super thin, so they're actually gonna cook very fast. We're gonna just drop them in, just like that. And let's just do a few of these right now and see how it turns out. Get back to you once they're done. So you want them to turn a nice golden brown color, which they pretty much are already. That was super fast. Very fast. Pretty much when they're done sizzling, they're done. They taste really good with some salt on them, so that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna take some salt. We're just gonna sprinkle some salt on it. Alright, let's try it. See how these things taste. Now, like I said, they're super thin. Much better. Nice and golden brown. That's what we want. Yes. So, remember, when cooking these up, they're still going to be a little bit chewy, but it's okay. This is so much better. That's what you want. Nice and thin, super tiny. Don't let them sit in the oil too long. Like I said, all I use is olive oil for that. just go ahead, just do it that way. Nice and simple. I only did a small batch just for me, but if you're doing a family, cook up a whole bunch of these things and just serve them out. They taste really good. Alright, there is one way of cooking up some pheasant back mushrooms or dryad saddles, however you want to say it. I keep saying both because I want to, if someone says dryad saddle to you, oh, pheasant back mushrooms. So just keep that in mind. People say it totally different ways. Let's cut up some more with that slicer I have. We're going to cut up some more, and we're actually going to saute them in butter and see if the flavor changes or if anything changes really, because yes, they were really good, but they're still just a little chewy. So I'm going to try cooking them in butter and see if it's different cooking right on top of a pan versus inside the oil and deep frying them. Alright, as you can see, I have some slice up ones now. We are going to be getting some butter. Just going to be using some regular old butter. Just a good chunk of it just like that. We're going to let it sizzle. Pan needs to get a little warmer yet. Alright, let's try this out. A little bit different. Just gonna toss them in there right now. Super thin slices. We're just gonna stir them around until they get a nice golden brown color, pretty much the exact same way that we did earlier, but inside the oil we're using butter this time. So I have actually seen people cook these lots of different ways. Some people, maybe they get fish out in the wild, they will throw some of these in there with it. But a lot of people prefer morels. But this year the morels were just not good. The winter must have just killed them here in Michigan. They just, that weird weather, when we had such a nice winter that it just got too cold and too hot, too cold and too hot again. I mean, I think it just killed them right off. But we're going to try this out because these always come up. I don't think I've ever had a season where these have not come up. So some people prefer them and some people don't. It's whether you like the chewiness or not. So as you can see, the color is definitely changing. Let me show you. This was the color. Now this is the color. So it's definitely getting to be your nice golden brown look. So we'll give it another second and we'll try it out. Way better than super thin like that. Alright, they are done. Get these on the paper towel. There we go. We're going to do the same thing. Move you around. Alright, we're going to do the same thing. Put a little bit of salt on them. We're going to let them cool down for a second because they are a bit warm. Now we'll try them out. Here we go. Look at that. Got some more. Alright, let's try one. That was good. That was like a potato chip. The thinner they are, the better they are. Oh yeah. Man, I don't know which one I like better. The butter definitely has a different flavor. Maybe the oily gets to my stomach after a while. These taste really good. I do like the flavor of them. I don't know, you should try them out both ways. Let me know in the comments below if you do try them. Overall, they're fairly good. Still a little chewy, but they're a little bit more like a potato chip. I like it. I like it a lot. Well, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned all the way in the video to see what I cook next with these things. Time to make some chili with our pheasant back mushrooms. Let's do it. Before we get started with our pheasant back mushrooms in our chili, we need to rehydrate our pheasant backs. So we're going to take our pheasant back mushrooms, we're going to pour a little bit into a bowl and add warm water and let them sit until they're rehydrated. Alright, now that we have our meat cooking, I sprinkled some wild onions in there, which hopefully it's going to make it taste so much better. We're going to see. Got some wild onions with that meat. Now we're going to get the actual chili bean stuff around, so let's do that really quick. There we have it. We have the meat and the pheasant backs done. We have the chili just a cooking. We're gonna add our meat and pheasant backs here in a little bit once that boils for a minute. Then it's taste testing time. Let's do it. Alright, it's a little washed out behind me. It's kind of better. Alright, here we go. We got our beautiful chili. Now I don't know how these mushrooms are gonna work, how they're gonna go. But I definitely like cheese, as you can see. So, with these mushrooms, some of them can be super chewy, and some of them are like perfect. It really depends on where at on the mushroom that you cut. If you cut closer to the edge or you have a fresher mushroom, they're way easier to eat. That one was a little chewy. Let's try this one. It's good though. It has a good flavor. Now, I didn't show everything that we did on this chili. I just kind of threw the chili together, but I mainly want to focus on the mushrooms. What you can do with these mushrooms. So we just threw the mushrooms in our chili. And we're just trying it. This is our first time doing it this way. Overall, it's pretty good. I think what I want to do next time is cut them up smaller, because they're just a little chewy. But that's what you get for a pheasant back mushroom. Overall, you should try this yourself. It's pretty good.